Now, what is the next trending topic of the day?
Why do we need scary things? This year's already a nightmare. All right, our last topic. Women's Health magazine would have you believe that a throuple version of a couple
Ooh.
from your best relationship ever. What, you may ask, is a throuple? Well, I was waiting for you to ask. Well, it is a balanced, consensual, and committed relationship between three partners. So not just a threesome, it's not cheating, it's a form of polyamory. It was touched on in the second season of The Politician, so it's had a lot of people asking more about this form of polyamory. Chris, what are your thoughts on the throuple? I believe you've seen season 2 of The Politician.
Well, let's see if after learning I never heard the term throuple before.
It was also and the article touched on, it was also in media on there's a House Hunters where a throuple was looking for a house and everyone was very excited.
2 guys, 1 lady, or 2 ladies and 1 guy?
I believe it was 2 ladies and a guy, but I don't remember for sure.
I feel like, I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe it's just the dirty male brain that I have. I feel like guys have been trying to get this going for centuries, and now there's just an official name to it, trying to make it legit. See, it's not weird. This is the thing, but it's not like that. There's a word for that. Those guys, there actually are guys who just want this lifestyle and just for their own selfish reasons. But this is actually like 3 equal partners. Like I'm married to her, and she's married to me, and I'm married to him too. You know, it could be 2 guys, and it's instead of just a couple, it's what it is. It's a throuple, and they're all they're supposed to be even. Everybody always says that the problem with it is if there's I don't know if there's arguments. How do you handle if you feel like the 2 is ganging up on the 1 and stuff like that?
I know people who are in successful polyamorous relationships. If it's your bag, more power to you. I had enough negative experiences just trying to have like friend groups that were 3 people.
Exactly.
And inevitably like 2 of the people would start being closer friends, and I was always the third party that got like edged out. So,
which is something that was touched on A Politician. So it makes me curious. But I'm fascinated now. You said how did that all work out?
In my friends?
On the friendship level, did you just sit down and talk about it, or did you just let it go?
No, they both called me and told me they didn't want to be my friend anymore.
And
it was a traumatic experience. Thanks for bringing it up, Chris.
And I'm wondering, see, and they touched on this. See, that was the one thing. It wasn't the main thing that was exciting about this latest season. I guess this could be like my quasi little review of season 2 of The Politician. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the first season, but everything that was happening with Bette Midler, which is in this season, and everybody that's involved in the throuple. What was that? I forgot her name already. I don't know if you looked up the cast. I should have probably did that. But everything that was involved with that politician, with Bette Midler and whatnot, was the most entertaining part of this season. Where on season 1, all the most interesting things that was happening was with the students and the main star of the show. And that was a really good first season. I feel like season 2 was not as good as season 1, but everything that was going on with that relationship and the problems that they were having was the best part of the season. I've fantasized about the idea. Can I convince Joy to that? But it would obviously be for my own selfish reasons. So she's like,
see, that's not like healthy polyamory.
It's not. So and I've been told that like no, that's like shut up, Chris. So I wouldn't be a good example of it. And that was my point. Like there are guys out there who are going to pretend like they're okay with, but are they really okay with it, or are they just doing it to I would test the guy out. If a guy brings it up, like if a guy goes to his wife and says, "Hey, you want to have a threesome or something like that?" The wife should test them out and be like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about my friend Jake for a while. Let's bring it." And if your husband freaks out, wait, what? Then you know that he was just really just thinking about himself.
And I think that's such a big part of it. And again, I'm not an expert. It is not personally my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually just talking to, because it came up because we were discussing it like in The Politician and everything. And we were discussing, and we're both just like, it's not my thing. I'm not interested. And we were both discussing just as a concept. It's like, I would never be comfortable if like my boyfriend came to me and was like, I want to bring a third in, and like had to convince me. I feel like that already just shifts the power dynamic in such an odd, like, I feel like if you are polyamorous and you know that about yourself, that should be like right from go.
You
Like,
should both probably already be there before starting that, right?
Meets you there. So it's not, no one should be talked into a polyamorous relationship, right. I guess is what I'm trying to say. That is not healthy polyamory. But I think from a media perspective, it is really interesting now that this is coming into the mainstream more and more of what does that do for storytelling? Right. I think, unfortunately, we're probably going to see a lot of depictions of like, so that's not really what it is. Because I feel like they tend to like anything like that where it is based in like, well, because it's based in like consent and communication and a lot of things that don't necessarily make great TV. But
if I'm not mistaken,
a lot of like dramatic Throuples where it's like, well, that's not a good, healthy relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think there was a TV show called The Big Love, and I think that was based not on polyamory, really. That was based on what was that, Mormon?
Yeah, like polygamy in the Mormon church, right?
That was based on that way of doing it. And if I'm not mistaken, The Politician, these characters are based on something that actually happened in real life to a politician that was out there in California. I think her last name is Hill, where her possible throuple relationship, or maybe it was just, it could have been that, or it could have been just her being just, being a consensual adult with her husband, just doing whatever they do in the privacy of their own home. But when she was exposed for it, she was shamed out of the party and had to resign and things like that. That happened a couple of years ago, right? And I remember thinking, like, who cares? I mean, was she good for was she doing her job? Was she good for the community? I was like, everybody wants to like shame people. It's almost like how I feel about, and I know this is comparing apples to spaceships, but it's kind of how I feel about like breastfeeding. How guys would be like, or anybody would see that happening in public, like, why do you have to be so indecent? That's indecent exposure. Like she's feeding her child, but that same person saying that that's indecent won't have a problem with going to a beach and a woman wearing the smallest bikini ever, showing the exact same amount of boobage, and they won't have a problem with seeing that. But put a baby in front of it, and it's like the only way that should be exposed is if it's to benefit me or something like that.
Not doing what it was made to do.
Yeah, exactly. Not doing what it was made for, but it needs to make me. And it's like, dude, like these are adults, and what they do in the privacy of their own home. If it's not going on in, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it was something more further than that. Maybe she was using. Like, I don't know if she was using campaign funds or she was doing whatever she was doing on company time or something like that. I gotta go back and check.
Involved in her campaign in a way that created a weird.
It was her campaign manager was like maybe the other woman or something like that. But whatever it was a huge scandal. But it's funny that you brought up that. You just jogged my memory. I do remember. I did speak to somebody who was also not in the same, like in a throuple, but she was in an open, I guess an open marriage, but almost a forced open marriage. Like, for example, this was when I was still dating before I met Joy. And I met a woman who said that she was currently married, and she got to a point in her life where her husband wasn't enough for her anymore and wanted to be in an open relationship. Like, her husband was totally against it. But she honestly went to him and said, "Look, this is just where I am now, and it's like I don't want to leave you, but if you can't, I know what I'm going to do and I know what I want. So I'm not gonna lie to you and go behind your back. I'm telling you where I am now. If you can't handle it, then we need to get a divorce. And
Yikes.
he said he hated it, but he didn't want to lose her, and he allowed her, and he allowed it, and then she found boyfriends and stuff on us. And when it got to me, I was like, no, I can't, no, I don't want anything to do with that. I never even met that person. And because you never know what the husband could have been like, I'm okay with it today, but when I'm gonna snap tomorrow out of jealousy or something, because the way she described it was, and from what I understand, that's not a poly, right? That's an open marriage, right?
And that's not even a healthy, because
that's not
again,
even a healthy open marriage.
our argument, like, I know people who pursue open relationships where, and like, if you do it correctly, it's like you have to be so good at relationships, and people are, where it's an amazing amount of like mutual respect and communication and respect for each other's like needs and desires and wants and trust, and it's insane. Like I can barely manage that with one person. Like we work hard to so I have a lot of respect. One thing I thought was funny in the article, just like, if you are not good at relationships and you attempt this, you will find out how bad you are.
You're gonna learn where your relationship is, trying to introduce something like that into the mix. Oh man, I could only imagine. I wonder if that guy ever just told his wife, like, look, we can't do this anymore, or if she ever stopped, or what. I don't know, because I think you brought that up earlier. It's like you talking about the power dynamic. I think it's just.
Well, it almost feels like a weird emotional blackmail of like, I'm going to other guys, and if you're not okay with that, then I'm going to leave you. And none of that's good. None of that.
Like, if you don't allow me to do this, then I'm gonna.
That is, like, even if you're telling the person, like, if it's not a mutually consensual thing that has been like approved and discussed, that's still cheating.
Right.
You're just blackmailing the person into sticking around.
Emotional blackmail. Yeah. You gotta allow me to have my cake and eat it too, I guess. And I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's just it's. So I respect the whole the throuple part of it more, because like, at least in that situation, especially if they're both like-minded individual, I believe in this polyamory lifestyle, and another person's like, oh, hey, me too, and then another person's like, hey, me too, hey, it probably can work, and it's probably working for a lot of people, but I wonder how many people evolve to that, and their spouse is like, what are we talking about? And if they have to be talked into it, that's probably where a lot of problems are coming in to it. So I don't know. Let us know what you guys think about that. Are you in one of these relationships? Have any experience at all in the throuples, open relationships? Let's talk about. Let's just. I'm not an expert on this, but I'll answer a question best I can, or at least I'll for you guys out there that are in the lifestyle. If you want to educate me on some things and what's going on, put it in the box below. Let us know. Let's know what's going on.